Hi everyone, it's Trish from Imagini here in Sydney, and today I am going to do a fine art edit using the Sean Archer actions, and I'll be working on Agata's photo today. So that will be this one here, and I'll also be using my frequency separation action to do the skin retouching. So to begin, I open up in Camera Raw and I adjust the white balance using my white balance tool. The background's grey, so I can just click on the background and I should get the right white balance. Alright, so the second thing I do is I'll probably tone down the highlights. I think the shadows are okay. I might bring down the mid-tones a little bit. Okay. And that is probably where I want to be. Okay, I'm not going to crop, it's not my image, so not my decision. Okay, then we open up in Photoshop, and there's a few things that we want to fix up. I probably want to drop the highlights a little bit more there, so I go Control J to create another layer, and then go to Filter, Camera Raw, and then drop those highlights a little bit more to get more of a painterly look. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is flatten my image and then my frequency separation action. So I'm just going to run that. Actually, no, I'm not. I am going to fix the background. So the way that I'm going to fix this background is this: create two layers, hitting Control J. On the top layer, I'm going to add a mask, and then I'm going to use my quick selection tool to outline our little model here. That should be fine. Just smooth it out. No. She said no. Okay. Alright, and we'll go select inverse. So I want to select this area here, and then with the black brush at 100% opacity and on the mask, I'm just going to delete that. Well, not delete it, but brush it out. And then what I'm going to do is go to the layer underneath, so layer 1, and simply move it down. Okay, and then I'm just going to fix that. So I go back to my mask on the top layer, and with a black brush at 100% opacity, I just get rid of the white stuff. Voila! Okay. So essentially what I've done is just put a layer on top and then remove those parts, I don't know, off the background that I wanted to remove. And then with the layer underneath, I just replace the backdrop. And there we have it. Voila! Okay, and now I can run my frequency separation action. Okay, and I'm going to start with the arms today. So we've got a bit of sticker on the arm. So I turn off my skin texture layer and I'm going to deal with the skin tones first. So I go to my skin tone blend, brush, 100% opacity, just smooth that out. Okay. Okay, so if I turn on the texture comes back, and then I might use my patch tool. So J for my patch tool, and just get rid of it. Okay, how does that look? what I might do, because I got a bit of red there, is go to my skin powder skin layer, I for eyedropper, B for brush at 30% opacity, and I might just paint over that. Voila. So that just evens out the skin tones, and there we have it. Before and after. Okay. Right, and then I might smooth out her arms, so at 30% opacity with my brush, black brush on my skin texture mask. I just smooth out the arms a little bit. And there we have it. So before and after. Alright, so now we go to gorgeous little face. Okay, once again, turn off the skin texture layer and let's have a look at the skin tones. We have very beautiful light. So at 60% opacity with a white brush. It's very finicky today. White brush, thank you. I just paint on the skin tone blend mask just to even out those skin tones. Okay. There we have it, and then we might just need to fix the under the eyes. So powder skin, eye for eyedropper, 30% opacity again, simply paint on. Eye for eyedropper on the other side. Voila. Alright, then we can get rid of the hairs. So skin texture, J for patch tool, and then Shift J to change it to, I don't know what it's called. What are you called? Oh, here we go, healing brush tool. Okay, and with this one, you actually need to use the Alt button to select an area, and then you simply paint on. Okay, Alt again to select around the area. And we remove those little flyaways. Okay, done. Alright, so a few marks on the face. I think I'll just go with the normal patch tool, so Shift J 4 times to get back to my patch tool, and then select and drag. Okay. Alright, and then I'm just going to do the brush tool on the mask at 30% opacity and just smooth out the skin a little bit. And there we have it. That already looks perfect. So the before and the after, before and after. If you want to bring back the texture, Just go back to the mask with a white brush. You can bring it back. There we go. Okay, so that's the skin retouching done. The next thing I'm going to do is dodge and burn. Well, not the dodge and burn, burn. Okay, so with the curves layer, I'll just bring down the curve, and then G for bucket, black bucket. Okay, and then with a white brush at 30% opacity, I paint it back on. So I do around the eye. Okay, I enhance the eyelashes. Once again, around the eye. Oops. Now the Sean Archer actions also do this, but I like to do my own as well. Okay, and then we're going to do a little bit of dodge. So I select all the layers, Control J, merge layers, hit O for dodge. Just make sure you have it on dodge over here. Yep. Okay, midtones, 9% exposure. Highlight the hair, the eyes, the mouth. Okay, done. All right, and then what I'm going to do is do my Sean Archer actions. So we start off with the legacy lighting. Simply play. Okay, so it's telling me 100% opacity, 4% flow on my brush, white brush. So 100, 4%, and then we just paint in the highlights. Oops, sorry, black brush. My mistake. So black brush, 100% opacity, 4% flow. Bring back some of those highlights. Okay. Oops, the nose, the eyes. All right, and then press play. Okay, so with this one, it's 20/50. 20% opacity, 50% flow. And this is, stop that, and this is for directional lighting. So I think I want my light to come from here, and I'll just brush it on, bring it back. Okay, done. Continue. Okay. All right, so the next one is the backlight. Play. Okay, so we have a bit of a backlight, and we can make it bigger if we want to. Continue. Okay, and the backlight, you can make it brighter or darker. There we go. Face light. Continue, same thing. Make it smaller. Okay, and once again you can make it brighter or lighter. Okay, awesome eyes. Okay. Now this one's not working properly for me since I did an update, so but it still mostly works. So the first thing I need to do is the colors of the eyes. So that's 100% opacity, 90% flow. It actually gives you the instructions as you go, and I'll show you that in a moment. Okay, play. Okay, see, small brush, 100% opacity, 80% flow. Paint on the black parts of the eyeballs, center of the pupil. So we go down to 80%. And then, so we already did this with our dodge and burn, but we'll do it again. Okay, the color channels are not working for me, as you can see. So the color channels let you sort of add vibrance to the eye color or change the eye color. All right, so we're going to do the whites at 100% opacity and 20% flow. Okay, make it a bit bigger. Continue. Okay, and then drop the opacity, continue. All right, and then you have it. So before and after, and once again, you can drop the opacity. You can play around with the additional layers, but overall, that's fine. Okay, the next one is the fun one, which is our textures. And you get textures with the Sean Archer overlays. I mean, the Sean Archer actions, sorry. And I got a few extra ones as well. Don't remember which one I used. Which one did I use? Alright, so because we've got a dark background, you need a lighter texture to sort of lighten the background. And I'll show you how that works. So let's go with this one. Enter. Play. There you go. So it's lightened it. Okay, and then 100% opacity. Doesn't have to be exact or perfect. We just remove the texture from our subject. That's it. Play. Alright, so this is where we add a bit of color if we want to. So if you want to make it warmer, you can. You can make it bluer if you want. It's up to you. And then the next step, you can reduce the saturation. So I'll show you that in a second, but I like the warms the better. There we go. Okay. All right. And then with this, you can reduce the saturation, increase the saturation, make it brighter, make it darker, and change the hue as well. But I like the warm one. So about there. Okay. Done. All right. And then obviously you can decide how much opacity you want on that background. Okay. All right, so I've got a little bit of greyness coming through, so I need to paint the texture back on. And there it works just fine. There we go. And you can't even see any texture on the skin. It's pretty good. Okay, and then we might make it a little bit more darker. Okay. Alrighty, and the next thing that we do is split toning. So this just merges the colors a little bit better. So that sort of reduces the saturation a bit. That's rather dramatic one. So we're just looking for something that looks nice. That's nice. Actually like that one. Okay, and then you can reduce the opacity on that as well. Vignetting. Let's keep play. Okay, stop. So we see a little bit of vignetting coming through, and then we run finishing as well. Continue. Alrighty, so that's the before and that's the after, so you've got a bit of a painterly effect. Okay, there's a shadow wash, which is matting. It just gives you a matte effect. You can cut saturation, you can cut the contrast. Might cut the contrast a little bit. Okay, and you can bump contrast as well, so lots of options. And then finally sharpen, and I only sharpen the eyes and the mouth. Oops, white paintbrush. Bring it out. Okay, so that's the before and the after, before and after. There is one little thing that I actually do as an extra, just for fun. I mean, this is fine. Very happy with that. Can go to camera raw and just play a little bit more with it, so maybe bring up the highlights a little bit more, bring up the shadows a little bit more, add a little bit of clarity. Okay, that's pretty much spot on. Otherwise, I have the Sarah Ferrara color profiles, and that just gives you a little bit of an extra boost as well. See, that's nice. So there's lots of color profiles. That one's nice, I like that. That one's also nice. And then you can also reduce the opacity of those as well. Doo-doo-doo. I do like muted. Poppy's nice. And we've got Regina, which is also nice. Where are you? Storybrooke. Topaz is one of my favourites. And I think I'll stick to it. Okay, so maybe drop. Oh goodness. Beautiful. And drop the vibrance a little bit. There we go. The before and after, and then complete before and after. And then with that, you can also drop the opacity a little bit. And done. Thank you very much. Catch you next time.